you know, you could just send them over our way. We are in Calgary. We own the Calgary and area franchise. There are, I think, about 26 franchise partners at the moment throughout Western Canada mostly, but there is Saskatchewan connection and Ontario connection, and
Wow.
I believe they were trying to shop the handyman, the area code handyman in Eastern Canada, but I'm not sure what happened with that. So I'll have to check back.
That's awesome. One of the most important people in most people's lives is to have a good handyman.
Yes, yes.
Actually, I should say a great handyman. Great
Great
handyman.
handyman. Right.
Great.
Correct.
So if you ever want to come to Montreal, I'm sure we can find work for you. Just keep driving.
Yeah,
just keep driving.
I've never been to Montreal. The farthest east I've ever been is Toronto. My sister was in Toronto
Toronto
for like 16, 17 years.
Montreal's the place to be. Sharon. Oh, Sharon left, so we won't even talk to her now.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
That's awesome. I think it's when you think about handyman, it's a challenging job because you're constantly creating and thinking and looking at what different ways to do things, and it's an amazing job. Well, I sort of did that actually for 22 years as well in aerospace, because I was a test engineer, and we were constantly creating new tests to perform on the aircraft in order to certify it for Transport Canada. So we were creating tests. So I think of myself as not a handyman, but sort of a MacGyver, because and I get actually a handyman is sort of a MacGyver as well. But it's
actually, if I could just throw something in, because I don't know if Kevin had mentioned any challenges that he's going through, but Kevin, definitely take advantage, because Ken is a wealth of information. So any challenges, anything that you want to, you need some tips and tricks, take advantage. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anytime, and you can call me anytime. There's no strings attached as well.
That's wonderful. I think I'll take you up on that for sure.
Yeah.
I am in the process of rebranding, just going solo, because I have a different idea of what I want to do versus my partner. So, which we're completely different personalities, which is great. We should complement each other, but we're family and it gets complicated. So, so yeah. I am in the process of just rebranding.
Yeah, but anyway, get my contact information from Pharaoh and reach out to me, and we'll set up a Zoom and have a conversation. No strings attached. And I'll be happy
Absolutely. I actually really appreciate that.
Happy to spend I've been doing this for 20 years, so
yeah.
I think
and you guys are already in a group together. I added Ken to the West Coast group as well, so you are able to
there you go. I've suddenly become a West Coaster, except that it's warmer in Montreal than in Calgary. Sharon.
Yeah. I guess Calgary is what, the Midwest kind of thing? Midwest.
I guess the Midwest would be maybe
Midwester.
Sort of. What did they say? Sharon, what happened? The phrase is "Go West, young man," not "Go West, lady." So it's all good. So awesome. Well, that's great. So anybody that needs a handyman, Kevin's your guy. And if Kevin gets out here to Montreal, I'm sure we can find him some work as well. Come for a visit and stay a month or two, and we'll probably hook you up with a number of jobs to do while you're here. And awesome. Hey, Wayne,
Hey, how's it going? Apologies for being late. I was on a call.
you were on a call. We were expecting you to be on the call with us.
Hey, priorities.
Priorities. Well, I thought we were the priority.
You are now.
Well, I just so everybody knows, I look like the white guy in the room, but my family goes back to 1659 on the island of Barbados.
Ah,
So
you're an Eki Becky.
we're all white Bajans, white Barbadians, but we got a lot of history, and so I think that qualifies me as melanated. And as Pharaoh always says, it's just a question of the level of melanation. I just happen to have less than everybody else.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, my parents are from Barbados, so we are countrymen.
Okay, well then we're you and I are definitely family.
Good stuff. So you're of Irish stock, Scottish or British?
I believe it started with the Scottish.
Mhm.
I remember going through the airport immigration in London, England, one time, and the guy looked at my name that said Ingram, and he says, "You're Scottish." And I said, "Well, actually, I'm Canadian." And he said, "No, you're Scottish." Well, you're not going to argue with the immigration people, are you?
I agree.
I just
No,
wanted to be let into the country, but yeah, so our roots go back. The first Ingram actually in Barbados was an indentured servant. James Ingram was an indentured servant, and he had a debt to pay in order to become a free man. And that was the first Ingram back in 1659. Yeah.
Well, your family was in Barbados before Mount Gay Rum was founded in 1703. So
That's true.
that's high praise. High praise.
I appreciate that, Wayne. So, Wayne, tell us a bit about yourself and how can the OFC help you? How can I help you as well? Because I'm a professional business trainer and coach, and I'm the guy that Pharaoh hired actually back in 2004 to work with him, his brother, and his friends on their strategic plan and their company at the time, which was actually called True King Records, but he's evolved quite a bit over the years, and I'm happy, I'm privileged to call him my friend, and to be that person that he goes to help and advice. And the OFC retreat, by the way, that they have here in Quebec was actually my property that he bought for me.
Okay.
So I'm happy that we were able to keep the land that I had in Saint-Justin, Quebec in the family, because I consider Pharaoh and Shada part of my family. So let's go back. So Wayne, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto. We're actually Mississauga.
Okay.
I specialize in all things financial. So for Kevin's going to, if he exits the franchise, he's going to need business and liability insurance. He's going to need personal disability, critical illness, and life insurance. Some of it he can run through the business. Some of it he can run through his personal hand. It really depends on what his accountant talks about.
Yeah, and it's tax deductible, right?
Depending on if it's considered active or passive. So if it's critical illness and disability, supplemental income, he can do that through the business. Life insurance, if he has a partner, he can do key person insurance, and that is tax deductible. But if he is by himself, he cannot run the insurance through the company and get it tax deductible. Again, Alberta may have different rules in Ontario and Quebec, but in Ontario and Quebec, you can't. So what I do is help people with their full 360-degree look at their finances. We don't want people living longer than their money. We don't want people having more month than money. So we don't want your money running out on the 21st, 22nd, and you still have to pay bills and live and eat until the 31st. So we look at cash flow. We look at asset accumulation. Everybody wants to make money. But one of the things people forget about in a very, very high tax regime, even though Alberta has lower taxes than pretty much everywhere in the country, asset preservation, defeating inflation, which has been very high the last couple of years, and defeating taxes, which are going up with your boy Trudeau in Ottawa. So we look at debt management, credit repair. We look at emergency funds. People who were in COVID did not have enough money until CERB came in and the business loans came in, and they found themselves in a pickle. So we show people how to live below their means, accumulate cash, preserve the cash, handle the debt, and deal with the protection so that you don't leave your family with a GoFundMe. You take care of business and be an adult and make sure you have your living will, and power of attorney in place. And I take care of that as well in all provinces and territories.
That's awesome. You know that they often say you can't take it with you, right?
Yeah, people don't want to take it with you. They want to leave it with you. They want to take it with you. They want to leave it with you. They want your parents and your brother and sister to pay.
People tell me that all the time. Ken, all the money you have, you can't take it with you. And I said, I don't have to. My wife's going to inherit it all.
Yeah, we want to make sure that you don't pay a penny more in tax than you have to. So I'm a specialist in tax avoidance, not tax evasion.
That's great. I got a great tax lawyer here in Montreal, actually. Happy to introduce you to him as well. He's an amazing guy. Not that I need a tax lawyer, but I like to have these people in my pockets.
Yeah.
So when I need them, I don't have to go through the yellow pages.
Your net worth is your network.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm going to tell you a bit about networking in a couple of minutes. What about raising capital, like $250,000 or more? Can you do that as well?
I have people in my
Have
network.
some venture capitalists, or
Yeah, if you have a business plan that's rock solid and it makes sense, the private equity money is there. It really depends on who's at the helm and what the business plan looks like and what the projections are looking like. But we have people that we can use. We also have people who can do equipment rental. So if someone like Kevin needs a truck, a trailer, some kind of tool, and he doesn't want to pay out of pocket, he can finance that tool with my company at fair interest rates.
yeah, I think the BDC does some of that, right? They'll finance equipment and some other stuff.
Yeah, if your credit is 800, sure,
800
or
okay.
above. Once you have a little bit of a, how should I put it, a spot on your credit, BDC is a little less accommodating.
There you go. So Kevin, we know where to go for the money.
Facts.
Wayne has pockets full of it.
Wayne has people with pockets full of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Wayne. Okay, maybe not Wayne, but Wayne knows people with pockets full of money. So that's great news. That's awesome. That's awesome. So do you guys do any? I want to give some a bit of training tonight as some added value.
Oh wait, hold on. Wayne, did you tell us about any challenges, anything that we can help you with right now?
No, my challenges are pretty simple. Because I have such a large basket of financial services, I usually don't, I see a lot of people posting flyers. I do ABC. I don't do ABC, I do A to Z. And because I do A to Z, having a flyer and having you try to figure out what makes sense to you is a challenge. So what I normally do is I look for someone who has a specific issue, and then I will say, yes, I can do that. And here's how we do that. And here's why it may or may not make sense for you. So I'm not throwing mud against the wall to see what sticks. I am a sniper, one shot, one kill. So if someone needs something in particular, I will say, yes, I can do that. I'll show you how I do it and how we both win. I'm not a win-lose kind of guy. I'm a win-win person, and we go from there.
I am as well, so I can relate to that. So we have to call you Wayne from A to Z.
There you go. I like it.
I like that. Okay, well, thank you, Wayne, and I don't know if you had a chance to reach out, but I did send you a referral today. I'm glad to be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you. We're meeting tomorrow, Thursday morning.
Amazing, thank you, Wayne.
You got to get back to your birthday party, Farrell.
No, I know. They're setting up to cut the cake, so I just stepped out for a sec. I do need to leave you guys. So I'm just, I can't help it. All right, guys.
Okay, I changed my name from Wayne to A to Z. There you go.
There you go. Wayne, same offer to everybody on this call tonight. My phone number is 514-668-2320. And you can send me a text we can set up a meeting. There's no strings attached, and talk about some strategies and some ideas for your business. I'm happy to do that for everybody in the UFC. My training programs are sales, leadership, organizational development, business intelligence, and coaching. And that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years since I retired at age 44 from my aerospace job, where I was involved in the certification and testing as a test engineer for commercial, business, and military jets.
Okay. Is that my wife worked for Bendix Avalex at one point.
Yeah.
Are you up there on Côte de Liesse with some of the CAE and these companies?
I was working for Bombardier Aerospace.
Okay, yeah.
Previously
Bombardier.
Canadair and then Bombardier Aerospace, but I'm retired.
Yep, fair enough. Good for you, man.
For the last 20 years, I've been doing training and coaching because I like to help people fly faster than their competitors.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and I will definitely take you up on a call. Well, a lot of what you're doing, I've done. I've got 25 years of cybersecurity experience. I retired in 2017, so I'm also doing what I'm doing now because I see a lot of people having deaths in their family. My mom died when I was 11. My father died last March.
Wow.
See people leaving disasters for their families financially and burdens that don't need to be there. So I'm licensed in 5 provinces: Quebec, Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta, and BC. So I can do business in those 5 provinces. I'll add the other 5 when and if it makes sense and there's clientele there. But BC, Alberta, and Ontario, Quebec do the majority of my business. Manitoba was to help a friend. But what I'm noticing is that people don't have their living will, and power of attorney together. And they have parents who don't have it, and they don't even understand the pain of not having that in place.
Yep.
The amount of running around you have to do, and then they don't have it for themselves, and they have kids, minor kids, and it's insane. So I'm fixing all that as
I tell my housekeeper that all the time from Barbados. I said, Angela, do you have your will? And she says, I haven't done it yet. I said, well, you better get with the program.
Listen, Brian, you offer things for free. Here's what I'll offer you for free. If you can get Angela on the phone with me on a Zoom call for 60 minutes, I'll do her living will, and power of attorney for her.
Well,
There's my value. There's my value add to you.
I'm in the business of creating miracles, so everything is possible. I will make a note of that, Wayne.
Yeah, let me know.
I'll make a note. Awesome. So one of the themes for today is, I got my button here. It says, great. Sometimes when we're going into a meeting, we don't, our energy's not at the right level. And a great way to pick up our energy, and this was taught to me by a good friend of mine, Nicholas Buthman, who wrote the book, How to Connect in Business in 90 Seconds or Less. He says, before you go into a meeting, before you do an interview, whatever, if you want to pick up your energy, you go, great. And you say it a couple of times in different voices, and you're going to start to laugh, and you're going to go to that meeting. And you're going to be able to sell your ideas and your concepts and things, and you're going to be able to connect with people more easily. Because the first rule in sales is people do business with people they like, trust, and respect. And people don't care if you've had a bad day, a horrible day. They only care about their problems, not your problems. So you got to be able to forget about yourself, and you got to be able to, as an entrepreneur, go in there and do your job. So that's a little tidbit. The other thing is, a lot of us, we go to networking events and we don't necessarily have a goal in mind. And you should always go to a networking event with a goal in mind, to meet 1 or 2 people that are going to be interested in what you have to offer. And you shouldn't monopolize their time. Just have your elevator speech ready, tell them concisely what you do, and say, well, perhaps we can get together in a week from now, and we can follow up and get to know each other a little better and see how I can help you and you can help me. Reciprocity. really, really works. So that's really, really important. So that's another thing when we
Yeah.
talk about networking. The other thing about, you know, and Farrell talks a lot about BNI. And BNI, I've been in BNI. I'm no longer in BNI, but the concepts of BNI are really, really good. And one of the things, obviously, is, are referrals important to your business? Absolutely. To say no is crazy. But I've always been in a position to say, no, referrals weren't important to my business. Networking is important to my business. And that's why I try to go out to as many networking events as possible to meet people, to share ideas. And, you know, we're part of the knowledge transfer system. So when we exchange ideas and exchange knowledge, this is where we connect with people, and it makes a difference. And I remember a good friend of mine, one of the most important things about networking is the future belongs to storytellers. And why is that important? Because people think in pictures, not in words. So you have to use colorful language to describe what you do. I was out with a good friend of mine a couple of years ago, and we were networking, and there were about 200 people in the room. And Peter and I would cross paths every once in a while. And at one of these exchanges, I said to Peter, "So how's it going?" "Ken, horrible. Nobody wants to talk to me." I said, "Peter, what do you mean nobody wants to talk to you? You're one of the nicest people I know." He says, "Yeah, but when I tell them what I do, they don't want to talk to me." I said, "Peter, let me give you a free coaching session right now, here and now. Next time somebody asks you what you do, don't tell them what you do. Paint a picture, tell a story. So you start off by saying, you know how, and this is good for everybody. It's good for Kevin, it's good for yourself, Wayne, Sharon, and Randy. You start off with, you know how. And you say, you know how, da, 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 da. Well, what we do. So I said to Peter, this is what you're going to do. Next time somebody comes up to you and asks you what you do, don't tell them. But start off with, you know how. People go through good times in their lives and bad times in their lives, and very challenging things in their life. And it's in those challenging times that they need people like myself, because I'm in the business of raising spirits. So, of course, people want to know more about, Peter, you like some holistic person, or, and he says, no, I'm a funeral director. So they start to laugh, and they said to Peter, so, you're a funeral director. How did you get started in that? Why did you want to get started in that? So basically, by starting off and painting a picture about, you know how, and what we do, what people, you know, the challenges people have, blah, blah, and what we do, that it raised curiosity. And now people they were more interested in talking to Peter. So this is what I want to encourage you all to do, is that when people ask you what you do for a living, don't tell them right away. Start off with, you know how, paint a picture. So that's your challenge. That's your job after this call, is to think about how to describe yourself and your business in a different way, starting off with, you know how, to raise curiosity and get more people interested in talking to you. Does that sound like a good idea? Yes, Ken. Interestingly enough, Peter went to the, I think it was with Collins Clark Funeral Services at the time, and they had a big convention in Quebec City. And he had the opportunity to go up on stage, and people asked him what he thought, blah, blah. And he said, well, so he basically shared that story with everybody in the audience, and they said, oh my God, that's fantastic. Fantastic, Peter. And they laughed, and they said, can we use that? And Peter says, yes, because my good friend Ken Ingram gave me permission to tell you this story. And yes, you can use it. So awesome. So think about that. So I hope that's a great teachable moment, a freebie on some ideas that you can use when you're out networking and meeting with people. Because remember, the first rule in sales is people do business with people they like, trust, and respect. And this is why the elevator speech and using storytelling as a means of conveying messages is so important, because it helps people to relate more to you and your business and what you're trying to do in order to make a difference. Any questions?
Yes, I had my hand raised. But
Okay.
I'll remove it. Where did you get that from? Because I've used that in the past. It does work. I use it at networking events because I wait for them to tell me what they do. If they say they're a lawyer, I have my spiel for lawyer. If they say they're an engineer, I have it for engineer. If they say they're a doctor, I have it for doctor.
Awesome.
So it really depends. You know, you're in a room of 4 people and you're asked to do this. A little hard to say, so you know how. When I'm coming in last. I heard who Kevin does, but I didn't know what you did or what Sharon or Randy did. So I was at a disadvantage, but I've used it. It works. I recommend it. Where did you get it from? Because I know where I heard it. I heard it from a guy in Vegas a couple of years ago.
Came from a good friend of mine. His name is Nicholas Boothman. And he wrote the book. He wrote the book, How to Connect in Business in 90 Seconds or Less. And this book has been translated in, I think, 27 different languages, and Nick's a good friend of mine. One of the other things I learned from Nick is KFC. Do you know what KFC stands for?
No.
You don't? Well,
Kentucky Fried Chicken?
It doesn't stand for Kentucky Fried Chicken. It stands for know what you want, K. F, find out what you're getting. And C, change what you do until you get what you want. KFC.
Change what you do?
Yes. So know what you're getting, K.
Know what you're
Know what
getting?
K, know what you want.
Know what you
F,
want.
find out what you're getting.
Find out what you're getting.
And C, change what you're doing.
That's what you're doing.
Until you get what you want. KFC. That also came from Nick, and it's in his book, How to Connect in Business in 90 Seconds or Less. And I think that's what the biggest problem with a lot of entrepreneurs is they're not giving enough thought to knowing what they want. Did
you say it was Boothman?
Yeah, Boothman, Boothman, and you will find him on YouTube. Make People Happy Like You. I think he wrote that book as well. Yes, that's the same guy.
All right. So I'm on the same page. I know what's up next for my
Yeah, but you don't have Nick's cell phone number. I do.
Nice. Is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive. He's a good friend of mine.
Nick Boothman. All right.
Nick Boothman. So I learned a lot from Nick, and
Nice.
and I teach a lot of these skills to business owners like yourself, because that's how we can go back to my thing there. People do business with people like, trust, and respect. That's how you can get people to like, trust, and respect you a lot faster. And this button that says great also came from Nick, by the way. And the concept of, before you go into a meeting, whatever, psych yourself up, great, say it in different languages, blah, blah, blah. And you will be more pumped, energetic when you go in there. People are gonna like you a lot more than if you go unhappy face, because nobody's gonna want to talk to you if you're not in a good mood, regardless of what has happened to you before you went to that meeting. People don't care. It's unfortunate, but it's a reality.
So Ken, question.
Yes.
Find out what you're getting. What does that mean? You're doing a gap analysis?
Yeah, you're doing a gap analysis.
Okay. Find out what you're getting.
Find out what you're getting. Know what you want. Find out what you're getting. Change what you do until you get what you want.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Thank you.
Very welcome. But anytime you want to reach out to me, any of you guys want to reach out to me, pick my brain, ask me some questions, give me a challenge. Tell me what your biggest challenge is, and I might actually have an answer for you.
Okay. How do we reciprocate? And I see you. I don't want to be a black hole where value goes in and nothing comes back out.
Yeah, well, you don't want to be a black hole.
Right.
You
That's
want,
a Wayneism. That's a Wayneism.
it's a Wayneism, yeah, but I don't want to be a black hole. And yeah, I'm,
I don't want to be a black hole. So if you're giving me nuggets, you're giving me gold. That's fantastic.
yeah.
But I'm here in Toronto. I was in Montreal a couple of weeks ago. I
Oh,
get to Montreal. I used to get to Montreal very often. Now it's going to
you should
slow
have
down a bit.
called me.
What part of town are you in? I'm an NDG man. So when you say Collins Clark, I used to live down the street from that funeral home.
I'm in Ville Saint Laurent.
That's where my office is. I'm on Frederick Phillip.
Yep, so you're close to me. I'm on the
Okay.
11th floor on Cavendish Boulevard with 3 balconies and a clear view of the Olympic Stadium and the St. Joseph's Observatory.
Nice. And my dad spent some of his final days at St. Mary's. We're right there by the.
St. Barry's, yeah, St. Mary's, yeah. So I'm in Ville Saint Laurent. So yeah, we can.
Okay.
If you're
Yeah.
in Montreal, we can certainly get together, have a
We'll
nice chat,
connect.
and get to know each other better, and it will be my absolute pleasure.
So, are you a member of Montreal Barbados House?
I am actually a member of Montreal Barbados House. I'm also a member of the Forest and Stream Club.
The which one?
Forest and Stream Club. It's a private club here in Montreal.
Horse and Stream.
Forest and Stream. Yeah, Forest, and Stream. It's an exclusive club here in Montreal.
Okay. And what does Forest and Stream do?
It has events for members.
Yep.
It's where some very wealthy people are members. So, I was always taught by a good friend of mine, said if you want to attract wealthy business owners, you've got to go where the wealthy business owners are.
100%.
And they're typically in places like the Atwater Club or the Forest and Stream Club.
Yeah, we have those down here. We have the National Club, we have the Granite Club, we have the Boulevard Club.
Yeah, and it's not cheap to be a member, but if you want to attract that sort of target market,
Yes.
then you've got to be in these targeted environments. Unfortunately,
No, not unfortunately. That's a way of capitalism. I joined a very exclusive gym. You go to some gyms and towel service is a big deal. You go to this gym, towel service is table stakes, and the amount of networking and contacts that I made there were fantastic.
Well, this would be the Atwater Club in Montreal.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, like I said, I was telling everybody a little earlier. I don't know if you were here at the time, but I remember back in 2004 when I met Farrell, and I was helping him with strategy and his sales skills for his business at the time, which was a record label that him and his brother were running. Mm-hmm. And I said, would you like to be a millionaire? And he told me no. And I said, well, Farrell, every time we get together, you tell me about creating capacity, making change, hiring people, making a difference in the Black community, the melanated community, etc. Imagine for the moment you were a millionaire. Could you not hire people? Could you not create capacity? Could you not create change? Could you not help the community? He said, yes. There's nothing wrong with being a millionaire. The problem is if you're being a millionaire for the wrong reasons. He says, I never looked at it that way.
I agree with what you're saying. I think $1 million is an arbitrary number, psychological level for a lot of people, but I think your income never exceeds your identity. And we have a low identity problem, not an income problem in the Black community. We have a lot of people who don't believe in themselves, and because they don't believe in themselves, they don't aspire, and because they don't aspire, they don't win. And then they say it's a plan perpetrated by the man to keep a brother down, and it has nothing to do with the man. I think the analogy was the fleas in the jar, and they put the lid on, and the fleas jump, and they hit their head on the lid of the jar. And then after a while, the fleas stopped jumping. They took the lid off, and the fleas didn't bother jumping because they had given up. It's learned helplessness. And I think there's a learned helplessness in our culture. And when people see people on the other side of that proverbial fence, they go, well, how'd you get there? Did you sell out? Did you do all these illegal and wrong things? No, I just added value and did what I'm supposed to do and read the same books Ken did and took the same courses and found myself a Ken and followed. Here I was in the Army.
Mhm.
I didn't question my sergeant.
Yeah.
I knew he had my best interests at heart.
Yeah.
So when he said march in a direction, I marched in a direction. You know what? It always worked out. And when
Yeah.
I worked out with my coach and I followed his direction, it always worked out. What a surprise.
Yeah.
So here I am now, an entrepreneur, working, listening to you. You're just dropping nuggets. And I look at the room. Oh, it's late at night, it's 10:30 for us in the East Coast. But imagine you have a free business consultant coach, and he's saying, call me. I will give you value for free. And there's 3 people on the call.
Yeah.
But I'm not shocked. Here's the good news, Ken. You've made a grave mistake because you've allowed me to come into your presence and you've told me to call you and ask for your guidance. And you're believing that 80-20 rule, Pareto's law. 80% of the people you say this to will never reach out. You've made a grave mistake with me, my friend.
I'm not worried.
Okay, be ready.
I'm not worried, Wayne.
Be ready. I've been here for half an hour, and you've dropped nuggets that I will be leveraging with my team. Like KFC is gold, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm using it like tomorrow.
Wayne, the biggest compliment you can give me, and the biggest thank you can do for me, is to tell people who I am. Because,
Okay.
like I say to many people, most people have no clue why Pharoah Hammett Freeman is who he is today. He's who he is today because he met me back in 2004, and I created the monster. The monster in a good sense, because he cares about people just as much as I do. But I taught him strategy. I taught him sales skills, and he harnessed that knowledge that I gave him, not for free. He paid for it. But he's made a huge impact using that knowledge that I trained him and created. I'm the one that created the monster. I'm the best kept secret in the melanated community. I'm the white guy in the room, but nobody knows that I'm half Bajan, I'm half Barbadian. I'm family history. I'm just as melanated as everybody else. It's just I'm a little paler.
Well, brother, you can be undercover, brother, and go into places and spaces where we can't, and bring back the nuggets.
And you're absolutely true, because one of the people I met in the melanated community in the UFC was a fellow by the name of Dali, and he does marketing, online marketing,
Social media, digital marketing. Yeah,
and
I know Dali.
You know who Dali is?
I do.
So I'm working with him. He's working with me. He's doing one of my courses, my sales program, and he's helping me with my my social media and all that. But I introduced him to a good friend of mine who I call Mr. Money, because Mr. Money has all my money. Well, Dali could not normally walk through the door at Mr. Money's office. But I told Mr. Money, this is my guy.
Right.
This is your guy. Yes. So I want you to meet Dali, because I believe he can help you with the issue that you're having now. Mr. Money hired Dali. And Dali's doing an amazing job. Mr. Money has now introduced Dali to a $1 trillion company. $1 trillion company that wouldn't give Dali the time of day had it not been a referral from Mr. Money.
Makes sense.
But this is the other thing that I do for the people that take the time to get to know me and work with me, is it's not only what I can teach you to do. Who in my network can I introduce you to? And the majority of the people that I say, Mr. Money, this is my guy. Or Mr. So-and-so, this is the person I do business with. They listen to me because they know I'm not kidding. And if I'm investing my time and energy using their services, there must be a very, very good reason. That's the game changer. So you're absolutely right. A lot of people in the melanated community are underestimated,
Mhm.
but they're just as good as everybody else. And in most cases, in my opinion, are better.
My issue is not that they're underestimated. They're underestimating themselves. This is a challenge.
Yes, they're under. So part of my job is to build that confidence. First off, I call it positive mental attitude. Positive mental attitude is you have to believe that you have what it takes to make a difference. Then you have to have a confident mental attitude because you have to project it. So if you don't believe it, going back to what you said, Wayne, and then you can't project it, you're not going to get anywhere.
So my
That's the
question
game
to you,
Yes.
thank you for that. And sorry to cut you. My question to you is, why are you, retired now 20 years, on a call with 3 strangers at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time? What's in it for you?
I'm not poor.
And
And make that 4 strangers because there's 4 of us on the line with him.
well, yeah, sure, but 3 plus me. Yes. Why are you here?
I'm here because I believe in the melanated community. I believe that there's a lack of self-confidence. The people don't have enough positive attitude. They don't have enough. I met a young man 6 years ago. His name is Jermaine Wallace. He was in the OFC. I think he's still in the OFC. He owned a Jamaican restaurant called Boom Jay's Cuisine. When I met Jermaine, he wanted to open more restaurants. And I said, well, let's go through my strategic milestones program first. And as we went through the program, I said, Jermaine, maybe you've already got the restaurant. Why don't we focus on catering for large businesses instead of opening more restaurants? Use that existing facility that you have better. That's exactly what he did. We came up with a strategy. He used the facility that he had for people coming in and people looking for deliveries, but he also went after these large companies. He made a shitload of money.
Mhm.
This year, he opened his second restaurant. This is like 5 years into the future. This year, he opened the second restaurant. But you know something? He didn't only open the second restaurant. He bought the whole fucking building.
Yeah, love it. Yeah.
That was the game changer. Had he done his original plan, he would have probably failed miserably during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But because he had me teaching him what to do, how to maximize what he already had that asset. It was just underused. He's now a very successful entrepreneur, and he's now poised. That new model that he just opened, he bought sorry for the language, by the way. It's just, I get so passionate talking about Jermaine because
I'm ex-military, buddy. Nothing you can say to me.
My father was
Apology accepted. Apology accepted. I may be the only Christian on the line. I don't know.
Thank my father was a gunner in the Second World War. He came to Canada as a volunteer from Barbados, age 17, and he was a gunner. And today, I'm a volunteer gunner for reenactments, and I'm using the same guns that my father used in the Second World War, 25-pounder howitzer for reenactments. I have a rank of sergeant.
Okay.
I've never done any military service, but I've been trained to use a Second World War howitzer for ceremonies And quite often I'm the number 3 man on the gun, like my father was during the Second World War, firing a 25-pounder howitzer using blanks, of course. So,
Of course.
so and
Amazing.
when people see me in uniform, they say, "Thank you for your service." I didn't do any service, but I say thank you for thanking me. So pretty awesome. Yeah. There's lots of things that we can do to change the world and to make a difference, and we need to do that. And so the reason I'm in here, reason I'm on this call with 3 people is because I believe in the melanated community, much like Pharaoh does. And if we can just get people to think, act, and behave differently, and get them to invest in themselves, all the things that Pharaoh has been trying to do with the OFC can become reality. I hope
So
that
Ken, I have a guy for you, because as I said, I'm retired and I'm not an entrepreneur, but as you're talking, I'm thinking of someone who I think would benefit from your service. He's in Montreal, so I will do that linking up.
Yeah. So thank you, Sharon, for that. So Wayne, so what can you do to thank me? What you can do to thank me for giving you my time and energy and offering you my time for free is take the time to think about people that you know that would benefit from knowing me, because I changed Pharaoh Freeman's life back in 2004. I put him on the front page of the Montreal Gazette business section for free using my contacts in 2006. And I changed Jermaine Wallace's restaurant, Boom Jay's Cuisine, from a potentially obliteration, because that's what would have happened, to turning him into the amazing entrepreneur that he is today. And every single one of these people will say, "Who is that? Who is the person that taught you to do this?" And they'll say it was Ken Ingram.
All right. So you have a sea of disciples or apprentices running around the country and maybe around the world who follow your tutelage and your coaching, and this is fantastic. Listen, what you're saying resonates with me, because here's what I know. Having been born in Montreal, having lived there for 23 years, and then finally getting out of there to come to Toronto to see what was possible without having French as a governor on my upside. And Toronto people who don't have the French issue still think the same way as Montrealers as it relates to business. So it's not French, it's not color, it's not anything but self-concept that people have or don't have. It's their identity.
Yeah.
We have an identity issue. And if you're saying that you have the wherewithal to help those who want to help themselves, then this is the way, as they say in The Mandalorian.
At 17 years old, my grandfather said to me he was a millionaire. My grandfather. And my grandfather inspired me to become a millionaire. And I remember telling my brother-in-law, who's married to my sister, he wasn't married to my sister at the time, 17 years old. I was out on a camping trip with him in the woods. And I said to John, one day I'm going to be a millionaire. And I was talking to John just recently, a few weeks ago, and he said, "You remember that conversation we had in the woods when you were 17 years old?" And I said, "No, John, I don't remember." He said, "You said to me when you were 17 years old, one day you would be a millionaire. And that's who you've become." And I believed you the day you told me that, when you were 17 years old. My grandfather inspired me. And I remember saying one day to my grandfather, "How you doing on your million, Grandpa?" He says, "Oh, it's been very difficult, so I've decided to work on my second million." It's you need people in your life that have vision, not necessarily a plan, but a vision of what they want to become, who they want to become, and what they will become. That's what we need to That's what we need to create. A lot of people talk about, do you have a plan? Never mind the plan. Let's start with a vision. I didn't have a plan when I was 17 years old, but I had a vision. I'm going to be that person. And that's what I set out to do. And that's the key. And that's the conversation exact conversation I had with Jermaine Wallace today in his restaurant, because he said to me, Ken, when you look back in time, did you have a plan? And I laughed and I said, no, John, no, Jermaine, I didn't have a plan, but I had a vision. And I think that's what we need to be doing more with the young people today, inspiring them to have a vision. And it goes back to the confidence and the belief in themselves. And maybe the impossible is not going to be impossible, because they're going to believe that they can change the world, just like Pharoah Freeman is trying to do.
Amen to that.
That's a good way to end it, my friend.
And I love him for it. I love him for it. Him and Shatta are part of my family. Awesome.
Awesome.
Hey,
I am super inspired, super pumped. So glad I jumped on this call today. It was definitely a game changer.
awesome. Well, you know, the same offer. Reach out to me. Schedule a meeting with me. I'll be happy to spend some time with you. Share ideas. Tell me your challenges, and I'll try and give you some nuggets to help you to grow your business intelligently. That's what I like to do. Grow your business intelligently. It's not that we're trying to grow our business unintelligently. It's just that we really don't have all the answers, and we never will.
No, that's true.
But that's why
Kevin,
I'm
Kevin, I think about you and what you're doing with the handyman job. Honest to God, you should never see outdoors. You should park your car in underground parking at the highest, tallest buildings in Calgary, and just go from top to bottom every day of the week, 5 days of the week, one building a day, and you should be able to be hanging pictures and building IKEA furniture and hanging shelves in the building in the warmth of those apartments with all those professionals who don't know how to handle a hammer. It's easy money. Minimum 3 hours, $1.50 for 3 hours minimum, and the clock bills at $25 every half an hour after that. Bob's your uncle. All you can eat buffet. The problem is,
what do you mean $1.50?
What's that?
You said $1.50.
150 bucks.
$150.
You said $1.50.
$1.50.
$1.50.
Yeah. $1.50
Right?
means 150 bucks. Yeah.
All day.
Don't listen to Wayne. $1.50.
All day.
150.
150, yes. Yeah,
Why
all
not
day.
200?
Excuse me?
Why not 200?
300. Whatever
I said
the
it
market
at
can bear.
150. Said the sky's the limit.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Get the contract in the building, then you have volume coming in, then you can work like that easy.
Volume
But
coming.
listen to the Ingram. He has the
Great.
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 Team of the day. Great.
Yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what the market can bear. You went out there and you tried your pricing, so you know. When you talk to Ken, you can tell him what others are charging, because honestly, value is perceived, is not real. So if people are willing to drop $1,000, they say, listen, I'll put you on retainer, bro. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you money up front and pay you monthly, whether I have something to do or not, just so I know you're available when I need you, depending on what market you're in, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that's the marketing. The market is good in Calgary.
Amazing place.
Yeah.
And each
All
and
right,
every
so
one of us-
great. I'm blessed. And I'm gonna say peace out, because my 1 hour meeting is now an hour and 15-ish.
Sorry,
So-
I apologize. I get carried
Yeah,
away.
we're out. Thank you.
All right, well, good night.
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
look
good
forward
to
to
meet you
seeing
guys.
you on the next call, and please
Till next time. God bless. Have a good rest of the week.
reach
Sure.
out. No strings attached. It's my pleasure to talk to you.
All right. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.